Ever thought you've been through pain? Imagine a battle not with outsiders, but with your own family. Someone close who turns into an enemy in your love story. But sometimes, it's these very struggles that lead you to an unexpected, beautiful ending you never saw coming. Hi everyone, I'm David, the storyteller on the Family Tales channel. Here I'll share stories about love, conflicts, betrayal, and infidelity within American families. These stories offer a deep look into relationships and the challenges families face. Stay tuned and explore with me. If you love emotional stories and want to uncover the hidden secrets in families, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our videos. My sister ruined my relationship because she couldn't have her one true love, so I made her witness him fall for me instead. Mia, my younger sister, has relied on the same excuse ever since she hit the age of 21. Since she cannot have her one true love, she feels justified in ruining the happiness of others. And I don't mean that in the adorable, she's still attached to her past kind of way. If you're feeling good, she'll somehow turn it into something unpleasant, then point fingers at her heartbreaking romance, the so-called one true love. A guy named Ethan she encountered at a college party 4 years back. They connected once, he never reached out, and somehow that turned into her narrative for being a terrible person. It all began with her lifelong friend Jess, who had been by her side since kindergarten. One weekend, Mia had a sleepover at Jess's place. By Monday, Jess's boyfriend was already sending Mia good morning texts. When Jess discovered them together in her own bed, Mia boldly stated, "You don't understand what it's like to lose your soulmate." Jess never uttered another word to her. Next, we attended our cousin's engagement celebration. Mia arrived in a dress that was pricier than my rent, got tipsy on wine, and cornered the groom in the bathroom. She kept saying that I reminded her of someone special, using his exact words later. It's a relief that he pushed her away and informed his fiancée right away. However, Mia, she expressed to our parents how witnessing happy couples brought back her trauma. Mom gifted her a spa weekend to aid in her recovery. When I crossed paths with Ryan, I was already familiar with the routine. I distanced him from family gatherings, removed Mia from my social media, and explained that my sister was dealing with something and required some space. It functioned effectively for a span of 2 years. Last spring, we got engaged. A simple ceremony is in the works, nothing extravagant. Only us and our closest friends. However, I did make a single error. I brought it up during Mom's birthday dinner. Mia's eyes sparkled with excitement, as if a festive surprise had arrived ahead of schedule. She embraced me and said, "I'm so happy for you. When will I have the chance to meet him?" A week later, Ryan was laughing as he showed me his phone. "Your sister discovered me on Instagram using a fake account. Check out these messages." We went through them side by side, ridiculing her urgency, and then he vowed to cut her off. 3 weeks prior to my wedding, I came down with the flu. Unsatisfactory. Ryan had plans to attend his brother's golf tournament for the day, but since I was already at my sister's, my friend who lives near Mia's apartment complex texted me to come over. "What is going on?" She mentioned that she had spotted Ryan's Tesla in the visitor parking area. My chest felt icy. I made my way there, despite feeling under the weather, and utilized the spare key that Mia had entrusted to me for such situations. I discovered them on her couch, her head resting in his lap, his fingers tangled in her hair, both partially undressed. She gazed at me, her eyes brimming with those phony tears ready to spill. "I'm truly sorry," she murmured. "He really brings Ethan to mind, and I couldn't take it anymore, so I left in a hurry. He made no effort to preserve what we shared. That's when I made the choice for her to experience the true essence of defeat. Ethan wasn't a mysterious figure who simply disappeared. We had been connected on Instagram for 3 years. We shared some friends from our college days. We liked each other's posts from time to time, but we never actually had a conversation. He resided 3 hours away, practiced as a physical therapist, and shared videos featuring his golden retriever. I slid into his DMs with a straightforward message. "Hey, this is a bit strange, but my sister had a crush on you back in college and just messed up my wedding. Do you want to assist me in making her life miserable?" He replied in 12 minutes. "Mia, the girl who arrived at my mom's place, count me in." It appears she made her way to his hometown, presenting herself to Ethan's mother as if they were familiar friends, weaving a twisted tale about him being the love of her life and how fate had kept them apart. His unfortunate mother was convinced of it. She asked Mia to join her for tea. They snapped some selfies, and she even shared a post saying, "Reuniting with my dear future mother-in-law." Ethan provided me with all the details, screenshots, videos, and even an audio clip of his mother saying, "She seemed so sincere, dear. I apologize if I created any issues." At that moment, I realized Mia was determined to keep going. She was unaware of love's essence, only familiar with the grip of ownership, and what she was unable to possess, she obliterated. However, this time, she overlooked 2 important factors. I had become a sister who no longer overlooked things, and Ethan was ready to engage in the game. Every step was meticulously planned. He would come to see me during the weekend of the family gathering. I hadn't talked to Mia since I saw her with Ryan, but I was certain she'd be there, since it was my father's birthday, and everyone always attended the ideal family gathering. What about me? I would arrive with Ethan, intertwining fingers, chuckling, performing just as she had always envisioned while being with him. On Friday, I collected Ethan from the bus station. He looked even more striking in real life. Charming, humorous, soft. A man who radiates brilliance without trying. The type of man Mia was unable to control, and he was aware of it. Inside the vehicle, we practiced our dialogues and synchronized our movements. On Saturday, at 1 p.m., we arrived and parked right in front of my parents' house. I entered, showcasing a fresh dress, stylish high heels, and a beaming smile. Ethan grasped my hand with a familiarity that suggested we had shared a deep bond for ages. Mia was in the living room, sharing a laugh with my uncle when she noticed us. Her laughter faded away, caught in her throat. "Everyone," I declared, as though it were the most ordinary thing imaginable. "This is Ethan." The name struck her with the force of a thunderbolt. Her face turned pale, then flushed, and she managed a smile, as if trying to find humor in the situation. "Ethan," she remarked, trying to stifle an uncomfortable chuckle. "Incredible. What a remarkable coincidence." He offered a courteous smile. "Hello, Mia. It's great to see you once more." That shattered any semblance of control she still feigned. She mumbled a few words, but I was already settled next to him, snapping pictures and sharing updates. Each step I took was a cut to her pride. At lunch, she attempted to engage him in conversation, recalling a college memory that was purely fictional. Yet Ethan ensured he kept his gaze on me throughout, affectionately calling me love and wrapping his arm around my shoulders. And each time he did that, Mia clenched her lips, as if she were forcing down pieces of broken glass. Following the birthday toast, she reached her breaking point. She confined herself to the bathroom. I trailed behind her. I kept knocking on the door until she finally opened it. "What is it that you need at this moment?" she inquired, her makeup smudged and her expression filled with desperation. "I just stopped by to check on you," feigning genuine worry. "It must be challenging to witness a soulmate in your sister's embrace, wouldn't you agree?" This is all just to cause me pain. You ruined my engagement simply because you couldn't bear to witness my happiness. So no, Mia. This is simply what is right." "He belonged to me," she shouted, striking the wall with her fist. "I was the one who spotted him first. I experienced it initially. Actually, Mia, you only saw him one time. He never had any desire for you. You created a fantasy of romance in your mind and used it as a justification to treat those around you harshly. But now you will sit and witness his affection for me. Because, unlike you, I didn't need to plead." She fell to the ground, sobbing uncontrollably. Mom tapped on the door, inquiring if all was well. I stepped out with confidence, my head held high. I returned to the living room and took a seat beside Ethan. He pressed his lips to my forehead and murmured, "She's going to unravel even further. Are you prepared?" I grinned. I am fully prepared like never before. The following day, the effects were already apparent. My mom reached out to me this morning, seeking understanding. She mentioned that Mia had spent the whole night in tears, that she was delicate, and that I should have refrained from upsetting her. "Challenging?" I inquired, chuckling without mirth. "Do you really believe that bringing my boyfriend to a family gathering is stirring things up? Or is it that Mia simply can't bear to witness anyone's happiness unless she is the focal point?" She let out a sigh on the other end of the line, as though I was the issue. "Darling, your sister has a tender heart. She forms connections quickly. Delicate." I cut in. "Mom, she was with my fiancé. She ruined my wedding. So you're concerned about how she feels." I felt feverish and isolated at home while she lay with him on the couch, reminiscing. "Ethan, you can't turn this back on me. Hey, how about we chat another time?" Then she ended the call. In that instant, it became clear to me that no one present would stand up for me. The entire family consistently viewed Mia as a fragile ornament, overlooking the fact that she possesses sharp claws as well. She consistently possessed them. At this moment, those claws were directed inward. On Monday, Ethan remained in town. I chose to bring him along to brunch with a few of my friends, the ones who were well aware of everything Mia had been involved in since high school. He was truly unforgettable, courteous, kind, charming, and wholly dedicated to me. The girls shared knowing looks and began to chant. Some even murmured sentiments such as, "This retribution is simply exquisite." The highlight arrived in the afternoon. Ethan shared a picture of us on Instagram, embracing in the park, a straightforward caption, "Love often shows up when you least anticipate it." The remarks began subtly. A cousin, an old classmate, heart emojis, and then Mia arrived. "Kaya Mia." Soulmate remarked, "This is revolting. You're aware of his significance in my life." Ethan appreciated her comment and responded with pinpoint accuracy. "We hooked up once, Mia. One time. Then you trailed behind me on the street the following day. What you're feeling isn't love. It's an obsession." Bang. Within an hour, the post sparked conversations in our social circles. Individuals who had been acquainted with Mia since their high school days began to express sentiments such as, "At last, someone has spoken up." Her way of speaking about him always struck me as peculiar. The concept of karma is real. She didn't comment on the post, but she did send me several voice messages on WhatsApp, weeping, shouting, questioning how I could turn him against her. One of the voice messages concluded with, "You're ruining my life out of spite." And I responded with a straightforward text, "No, I'm simply demonstrating the process of rebuilding after experiencing destruction, a skill you were never taught." Then, just like that, I blocked her. However, I had not yet completed my task. Not at this moment. I was certain she wouldn't just drop it. Indeed, Thursday night brought a notification my way. Mia shared a post on Instagram. A selfie featuring a tearful expression, puffy eyes, and dim lighting in the bedroom. What about the caption? Watching your sister take the man you adore is truly painful. Find humor in your struggles and receive recognition for it. I'm far from flawless, yet nobody should have to endure this. More than 1,000 likes. Individuals expressing support. Remain resilient. Look after yourself. You will overcome this challenge. What caused the deepest pain? A few people in my circle shared it again. The following morning, I headed over to my parents' place. Mom opened the door, taken aback. "What brings you here?" I arrived to have a conversation. Alongside all, I entered. Father was in the living room. Mia descended the stairs with an air of solemnity, as though she were attending a funeral, wearing comfy sweatpants, hair pulled back. That I'm the one facing the consequences. "Did anything occur?" she inquired, with a hint of sweetness. "Something occurred. I'm tired of your constant manipulation and playing the victim." I paused in the middle of the living room, gazed at both of them. "Mother, Father, have you checked out the post? Do you honestly believe that's just... Do you recall who ruined the engagement? Darling, this isn't the way to fix things." Mom made an effort. "Listen up. It's time for you to pay attention." I looked at Mia. "You captivated Ryan. You betrayed me. You apologized with insincere tears, believing you could still play the role of the family princess. However, the situation has shifted dramatically. Now, you're the one in the thick of it, weeping. No one is coming to your rescue this time. It's not a post filled with sadness that will make the screenshots disappear. The audio messages, the accounts. Everyone witnessed your true self. The mask dropped. Mia." She remained quiet, weeping. Father cast his gaze downward. "I'm exhausted from being overlooked while you perform your little acts. That's sufficient. The spotlight is on me now. What about the audience? They support me." I departed without awaiting a response. Ethan was driving, the radio playing softly, and my coffee sat waiting in the cup holder. "What's the deal?" he inquired. It was stunning. I responded. She ultimately realized that she no longer has any control. He grinned. Guess what? Taking revenge on her turned out to be more healing than I expected. Absolutely. And do you realize what's even more amazing? What is going on? Stay tuned for part 2. It's on its way. The second part opened with an invitation. The grand opening celebration for my friend Andre's latest dining establishment. And a well-known chef in the area, recognized for their local influence and extensive social media presence. Mia was absolutely captivated by this kind of event. She consistently acted as if she lived a life that wasn't truly hers. Shared images in store mirrors, acting as if I owned the outfits. Purchased high-end cuisine for the sake of capturing images and discreetly returned it through the rear entrance. That was the end. Looks matter. However, this time she did not make the list. I was... Ethan was too. We started off strong. Absolutely. The photographer at the entrance paused us for some photos. One of them showed up on a city events profile with the caption, "Couple of the moment." Melissa and Ethan command attention at the opening night. Mia noticed that the following day. Absolutely. Shared on her stories the timeless subtlety. Some individuals thrive in the limelight to truly feel vibrant. I lean towards depth. How deep? From whom? From someone who practically launched herself at my fiancé just 3 weeks before the wedding and is now sobbing online because the guy she hardly knew is now my boyfriend. Next Saturday, yet another event awaits. Amanda's big day. Our relative. Mia and Amanda had always shared a deep bond. She likely anticipated her friend to mediate the situation and request that I not bring Ethan. Amanda reached out to me directly. "Mel, kindly come and bring him along. It's clear that everyone is aware of the situation, and I no longer have the energy to keep up the facade with Mia. She has to understand that the universe isn't centered on her." Mia was present, isolated, wearing something too snug, perfectly applied makeup, artificial grin, acting as if she was unaware of our presence when we entered. Ethan wrapped his arms around my waist, gave my cheek a gentle kiss now and then. All she could do was observe. The highlight of the evening came during the dance of the bride and groom. Amanda subtly beckoned us to join them on the dance floor. Ethan and I stood at the center, rotating gently, as Mia attempted to come closer. For the first time, she appeared unguarded. "Ethan, may I have a word with you?" She inquired with that gaze she believed was impossible to resist. He released my hand, turned to her, and stated, with utter composure, "No, I'm occupied with loving your sister." Mia stood still. I inhaled deeply, gazed at her, and said, "For the first time in years, I am experiencing genuine love. A concept that always eluded your grasp, because you only understand how to mix attention with affection." She stepped back, tears welling in her eyes, and stumbled over the hem of her dress. Not a single person found it funny. It was even more dire. All individuals disregarded her. That was painful. She exited the hall shortly after, and I continued to dance. After a significant period, I finally felt like the victor, yet the best was still ahead of me. A couple of weeks later, I received an invitation to join a podcast focused on resilience and fresh starts. No names were used, yet I shared the tale. A tale featuring the self-absorbed sister, the disloyal fiancé, the meticulous payback, and naturally the surprising romance. The episode gained immense popularity. Messages are pouring in from across the nation, with people congratulating me and expressing their connection to it. Mia paid attention. I understand she did, because on the same day she reached out to me in my DMs. "Is it really necessary to put yourself out there like this just for some recognition?" And I responded immediately, "It's not about exposure. It's freedom. I spent years in your theater. The narrative belongs to me now. The stage is just as important." She didn't respond. In the days that followed, I heard from others that Mia was starting to withdraw from social interactions. Several brands she was attempting to collaborate with severed communication. Comments began to surface regarding her fixation on Ethan. The image she meticulously crafted with curated filters and pre-packaged phrases started to fall apart. It wasn't my doing that caused it to fall. She immersed herself. What about me? I continued to exist. Ethan had transcended his role as merely a pawn in my quest for vengeance. Amidst all that turmoil, he transformed into a refuge that presented itself as a friend. However, today was a genuine friend. With each passing day, I observed. What Mia attempted to break only fortified my resolve, and she, who had always sought victory through cunning, now found herself accompanied only by silence. It was an ordinary morning, weeks after Amanda's wedding, when I first noticed that Ryan was no longer on my mind. In my apartment, sunlight streamed softly through the window, while Ethan, shirtless, busied himself in the kitchen, whipping up pancakes. He had been doing it this way since the first week we spent together. As he softly hummed a tune from the 2000s, performing silly little dances that brought a smile to my face, it dawned on me that Ryan was merely a faint echo in a forgotten part of my mind. It was more than mere revenge. Not any longer. Ethan's grip on my hand lingered, even when it wasn't necessary. It was the way he absorbed my childhood tales, a genuine smile lighting up his face. Although he was already familiar with all of them, his gaze was fixed on me as I sat on the couch, engrossed in my book, conveying a sense of complete contentment, as if nothing else mattered to him. This caught me off guard. When I reached out to him in that spontaneous message to help shatter my sister's illusion, I believed it would be a fleeting moment. He would put on an act for a bit until Mia lost interest, until I experienced my retribution, and then everything would go back to the way it was. However, it did not come back. Ethan turned into a habit, existence, protection. He got to know my friends, blended into my work environment, and began leaving his toothbrushes and t-shirts at my place. When my car broke down, he was the first to arrive with coffee and a tow truck. During an anxiety attack before a crucial presentation, he joined me on the kitchen floor, remaining quiet and simply holding my hand until I regained my breath. What about Ryan? No consideration whatsoever, no comparisons at all. Absolutely nothing. He, who used to be the focal point of my existence, had become insignificant. Now, I had someone by my side, even during the most mundane moments. Ryan embodied the essence of future possibilities. Ethan, regarding current activities. One evening, we dined at a newly opened restaurant in town. Simple yet inviting, with a pleasant vibe and delicious meals. As we settled in, Ethan grasped my hand over the table and remarked, in that familiar, light-hearted manner, "You know what's funny? This was initiated as a prank on your sister. However, I was never deceptive in any way." For a brief moment, I remained quiet. My heart is pounding. I'm done with the pretense as well. I responded, wearing a nearly sheepish grin. He chuckled and lifted his wine glass high. "So, what's the ultimate payback?" "No." I made the necessary corrections. "What follows after them?" We raised our glasses in celebration. For the first time in ages, I found myself at peace, free from bitterness, free from spirits, without seeking anyone's attention or approval. I stood by my own side, and thus was he. Just a few days later, while strolling through downtown, I spotted Ryan, isolated. He walked with his head lowered, as though the weight of the world was pressing down on him. It happened effortlessly. I turned my gaze elsewhere, not due to suffering, but because it just lost its significance. He noticed me, paused, nearly decided to have a conversation. However, when he saw Ethan coming closer and linking his fingers with mine, he stepped back. Perhaps he finally realized that there was no longer any room for him. The space he filled with deceit and half-truths was now taken by someone who, without making any promises, offered me everything. That night, I held Ethan close and softly said, without giving it much thought, "Thank you for being here." He gazed at me with a serene smile that conveyed it all, even in quietude, and I was aware. Retribution brought me the justice I sought. Yet it was the aftermath that filled my heart with love. Time went by. What started as a biting reaction to my sister's venom transformed into the most delightful aspect of my existence. Ethan had ceased to be a strategy, a maneuver, a carefully crafted challenge. He was my sanctuary, my companion in quiet moments and joy. We shared a bed nearly every night, alternating between my place and his, where the golden retriever made it a point to curl up between us, acting as a loyal guardian in this unexpected tale. On a casual evening, while we lounged on the couch, sharing pizza straight from the box and enjoying a light-hearted documentary about marine life, he made it official and asked me to be his girlfriend. "Is it too soon for this, in your opinion?" he inquired, the pizza box perched on his lap and a grin playing at the edge of his lips. "Or has the moment passed us by? I believe we've faced tougher times than most couples do over 20 years together." I responded with a chuckle. "It's merely a title. Absolutely, I desire to." And that's how it remained. We stopped discussing Mia altogether. She vanished from discussions, from online platforms, from texts. She cut off all communication with Ethan, despite the fact that he never reached out to her. She confided in others that she would never forgive me, claiming I had taken the love of her life just to flaunt what was out of her reach. She never acknowledged that she ruined my wedding prior to all of this. However, do you realize? I was done caring. Initially, I believed I would be affected, that I would continue to focus on her failure to recognize her own wrongdoing, that I would plead for an apology that would never arrive. The reality is that the liberation I experienced when I ceased seeking Mia's approval was the most valuable blessing that entire turmoil provided me. She held on to her grudge. She was absent from my birthday celebration. She ignored my mother's messages regarding Christmas. She kept her distance, feeling wounded and disgusted. What about me? I have moved on. I journeyed with Ethan to the countryside, officially met his mother, assisted in painting the wall of the new clinic he opened, and learned to manage the messy dog. Step by step, we created a routine that was genuine, effortless, and free from pretense or deception. One afternoon, as we lounged in the hammock, surrounded by the gentle rustle of the wind and the melodies of birds, he turned to me and asked, "Do you still believe this was merely about revenge?" I paused for a moment. I smiled and turned my face towards him. Perhaps it began like that. Ultimately, it turned out to be the most beneficial decision I ever made for myself. He pressed his lips gently against my forehead. We remained quiet. Retribution transformed into affection. Ironically, that must have been what hurt Mia the most. She always aspired to be the focal point, the epitome of beauty, the object of desire, the one deserving of all the attention. Yet it was behind the scenes, beyond the narrative she constantly aimed to create, that I discovered what she had devoted her entire existence to feigning. I was never the star of the family show. I was never the favorite. I have never been the ideal sister. Yet I was the sole individual who understood how to turn suffering into power, dismissal into liberation, and vengeance into compassion. And that no one can ever take from me. Half a year later, just when I believed the worst was behind me, an unexpected call came in. It was Ryan. I didn't respond the first time or the second. On the third, Ethan was next to me and just said, "Answer it. It's time to bring this cycle to a close." "Hello," I responded in the most impartial tone I could muster. "Hey, Melissa, it's me." His voice carried a weary, resigned tone. "May I speak with you face to face?" I considered ending the call. However, Ethan was correct. Something needed to be expressed. We decided to meet at a neutral cafe, away from any location that carried our shared past. Upon my arrival, he was already present. Untidy hair, pronounced dark circles. He appeared to have aged significantly in just a matter of months. "Thank you for coming," he said, avoiding my gaze. "What is it that you seek, Ryan?" He let out a heavy sigh. "I would like to express my apologies. Seriously. Furthermore, provide clarification. Could you clarify what you mean? So you were holding hands with my sister just 3 weeks before our wedding?" "It wasn't that way," he whispered. She approached me during your illness. She mentioned that she wanted to discuss something significant regarding you. I needed to understand certain aspects of your past before we took the step of getting married. A tightness gripped my stomach, just like Mia. So you actually trusted her. She presented proof, or at the very least, items that appeared to be evidence. You mentioned that you had ruined a girl's life back in high school. You were spiteful, deceptive. She presented previous discussions in a misleading manner. At last, he turned his gaze towards me. I became perplexed, fearful. So, that's the reason you ended up in bed with her? Negative. He shook his head in despair. She expressed that her feelings for me had been strong since our first encounter. She simply didn't speak up out of respect for you. If I decided to call off the wedding, she would support me. I was enjoying a drink. I found myself perplexed by all the information she shared regarding you. Is that you, Ryan? I cut in. Your actions cannot be excused by any of that. I understand. He felt the sting of tears welling up in his eyes. Just 5 minutes after you walked away, it all became clear to me. I realized that she had played me. Everything was a fabrication. I had ruined the most precious thing in my life because of her. I stayed quiet for quite a while. Do you know what pains me the most, Ryan? It's not about your actions at all. You didn't have faith in me. Throughout our 2 years together, you placed more trust in her words than in my true self. He bowed his head. I attempted to reach you after that, countless times. I visited your place, but you were nowhere to be found, until I came across the pictures featuring him, and I realized it was beyond the point of no return. The instant your hand touched her hair, it was already too late. I responded, rising to your feet. Thank you for the clarification. It reassures me that I made the correct decision. He cast a final glance in my direction. Are you satisfied with him? For the first time throughout the entire conversation, I found myself smiling, more joyful than I ever thought possible. I walked away, free from bitterness. It's important to recognize that some doors must close for new ones to fully open. The discussion with my family was more challenging. After 3 months, my mother finally reached out, requesting a conversation. She proposed lunch, only the two of us. To resolve matters, I discovered another woman, more mature, feeling increasingly fatigued. The lines around her eyes appeared more pronounced. How's it going? She inquired with uncertainty. Great, Mother. Excellent. And Ethan? He's also quite impressive. Everything's fine. She nodded, anxiously twisting her napkin in her hands. I want to express my sincere apologies to you. At last, she spoke up. Throughout all those years, when my vision was clouded, my chest constricted. Mother? No, allow me to speak. For the first time, she met my gaze directly. I always recognized that Mia was challenging, but I believed that by giving her more attention, by being more protective, she would transform. And in the midst of it all, I overlooked you. I walked away, leaving you to face the aftermath of her issues on your own. Emotions overwhelmed me, and tears flowed freely down my cheeks. Following your confrontation that day, I began to connect the dots. The friends Mia has lost, the vanished boyfriends, the tales that always seemed off. I came to understand that you both shared distinctly different accounts of the same tale, and I consistently opted to trust hers. What's the reason? I inquired. My voice faltered. Due to her increased volume of tears, my mother confessed, her voice trembling. It felt like you always had more strength. better equipped to handle your own needs. I mistook strength for the absence of needing support. We lingered in quietude for several moments. "What's next?" I inquired. "How's Mia doing?" "She relocated to a different state. She is undergoing therapy. She mentioned that she needs to begin anew, far from all of this." My mother paused. "She wanted me to pass that along to you. She understands that she was mistaken. However, she is unable to offer you an apology at this time. Forgiveness is still out of reach for me." I responded truthfully. "Perhaps one day. However, not at this moment." "Got it." She extended her hand over the table. "Is it possible for me to strive to be a better mother? For you?" I grasped her hand firmly. "We can strive to improve as a family. However, it will require some time." Her smile was accompanied by tears glistening in her eyes. "I have plenty of time." A couple of weeks later, my dad arrived at my place. Suddenly, there was a bouquet of flowers in hand and a look of uncertainty on their face, as if words were eluding them. "May I enter?" he inquired hesitantly. "Absolutely, Dad." Ethan entered the kitchen and courteously acknowledged my father before stepping back, allowing us some privacy to converse. My father stated clearly that he likes him. He appears to be a decent person. He certainly is. "I arrived here because your mother mentioned that you both had a conversation. I came to the understanding that I never expressed my apologies to you. My father was not one to speak much. This caught me off guard. I always recognized that Mia had her issues." He went on, "I believed it wasn't my concern. It was a matter for women. Your mother would figure it out. Ultimately, both of you endured pain, and you in particular, Father." "Absolutely not, my dear. Please allow me to complete my thought." He perched on the edge of the sofa. "I did not succeed in my role as a father. I was unable to keep you safe. I was unable to teach her. I didn't succeed in showing you that sisters are meant to uplift one another, not tear each other down." A lump formed in my throat. "I heard from your mother about Ryan, regarding her actions towards you." He shook his head in disbelief. "If it were up to me, forgiveness would be off the table." "Yet you discovered a method to turn all that suffering into something positive. And I take great pride in that. Your achievements make me proud." Those were the words I had longed to hear my entire life. "Thanks, Dad. Do you believe there's still an opportunity for me to become a better father?" I grinned, even with tears in my eyes. Time is always available. That evening, I revealed everything to Ethan. He remained quiet, simply grasping my hand. "What are your thoughts on how you're feeling?" He inquired about the completion time. "Without cost," I answered, taken aback by my own reply. At last, completely liberated. "What about Mia?" I paused to reflect. "I wish for her to discover her tranquility. Stay away from me. Yet, I truly wish she discovers it." He grinned and pressed his lips gently against my forehead. "You truly are amazing. Did you realize that?" "We are truly remarkable," I corrected. Indeed, it was true. Ultimately, it was never solely about defeating Mia or seeking retribution against her. I realized that I am worthy of receiving love in the right way. Protected. Esteemed. It was about realizing that family extends beyond blood relations. It's about those who decide to stand by you through thick and thin. It was about understanding that, at times, to discover the love of your life, you must first cease settling for the bare minimum from those who never appreciated you. As I wake up beside Ethan today, with the dog nestled at our feet, I feel a sense of clarity. Every struggle was worthwhile. They are the reason I am here, for him, for us, for harmony. That's it for today's story. If you found it moving, don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.